Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of All Caps. I'm Isaac Anderson, the author of A Song of Bones and I almost said Fall Self-Andrea, and The Garden Maze. And I'm joined by my special, I'm sorry, I'm jet lagged. I just came in
You
from
have an
freaking
excuse.
Oklahoma. Tim McKay is here. He's the other very, very, very smart person on the show. He's the author of The Fall of Self-Andrea. And joining us today is our very, very special guest, Trinity Cunningham, the author of Bloodbound and Unbound. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I was really digging that jazzy tune intro. It's a nice little intro into it.
Well, that was your brother, right, Isaac? Who came?
Yeah, my brother wrote that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. That's cool.
Makes it extra.
He's very
fun.
talented. He did my covers too. So he does music. He does covers. He does everything. He's like he's like a little genius running around.
Very talented.
What are we doing to you?
That's handy to have.
Yeah. What's
EL?
that?
I don't think I'm doing anything to you right now.
Hello, EL. Hello.
I guess. Yeah. I was gonna say we don't have to ask Isaac how you're doing after that awesome trip. Fireworks on July 4th and just getting back.
I shot my friends with Roman candles. We blew up things next to my brother's head on accident. My brother burned himself on a firework. The cops were called on one of our groups because they were I was sleeping in the barn and they woke me up. They were in the field freaking blowing crap up at 4 a.m. So yeah, they deserve to have the cops.
That sounds like an adventure.
It was a good time. Little sleep. Very little sleep.
When did you get back today?
What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. I got in 11 today.
That's not
so
much time.
I'm running on almost 24, 25 hours no sleep by now. So I'm feeling good.
Like a teenager,
I'm
living
like I'm in like that special zone of delirium that's going to make me either very funny or just you won't understand anything I'm saying.
I feel like as soon as you hit the 30s, though, you're like, nope, I want my bed and I want sleep.
Yeah, I can see my bed from where I'm sitting. As soon as this show is over,
it's calling you.
Boy. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what we've established here is Isaac is justifiably dead tired, and I probably blew out my voice doing some test recording earlier today. So you just basically, this is all you. We're just going to step back and you just
the greatest episode of All Caps we've ever had.
Like that's super dangerous to do. I talk a lot and then I ramble and then I'm like, what am I even saying?
Well, let's get this rambling started. I have an opening question for you. Where'd you get this writing bug from? Like what sparked this for you?
Let's go back to the beginning and say it started right from a young age with my mom being a writer and birth pretty much right from the womb. No, I've always enjoyed it. I liked movies though, so I wanted to write movies and that was kind of the dream. I went and studied screenwriting and that was kind of the track I was on. I worked on a couple of film sets and I was like, this is not the scene for me. It's so busy.
What film?
It was called ATM. I didn't work on that one. I got to visit
You were on ATM about the ATM?
No.
Oh man, the part when the ATM starts shooting the guy. That was my favorite movie, man.
Yeah, I got to check out the set. I wasn't working that one. That just happened to be in my city, and I was working in the building that they were filming in.
I've never seen this movie. Was I correct? The ATM starts shooting the guy.
There's not really shooting. He drives into the ATM. I don't know. It's one of those it's a little bit low budget, you know.
Is it kind of a romantic comedy where he falls in love with the ATM after hitting it with the car?
It's supposed to be like suspense. There's they're in the middle of nowhere, trapped in this ATM, and I don't know. It was weird.
They're trapped in it. Oh, I have to see. I have to find this movie now. Is this called ATM?
It's like one of those phone booths, but it's for the ATM. Like it's like a cubicle, like you'd get one of those booths sort of thing. Yeah, I know. You're gonna look it up.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
I found it. Oh, anyway. Remember, Mike was on. I had that stock footage of the serial killer with the crowbar.
Yeah,
that guy is an ATM. The poster for ATM is just that picture. I made this poster last week on accident. I have to watch this movie now.
You know what? I'm gonna say watch it with be wary. It's really low budget. So I mean it's okay.
Josh Peck is in it. I know it's low budget.
And no, I did actually work on The Next Star, like the as a production assistant in TV series that they have for like, it's like a Canadian Idol, American Idol for kids, but it's they had the auditions in our city, and I got to work as a production assistant, and just like the buzz of it, the atmosphere, it was all like, you just, people are really pushy.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably have a lot of crying, disappointed children as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too, on that particular one, and adults maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
It was it just the atmosphere itself was not me, and I was like, I don't think I could do this. So and I always thought that, like, you know, books have so much detail. I don't think I could ever write a book. And then my mom wrote her first children's book and published it, and she's like, actually, that wasn't too bad. Like, it's actually not that hard to publish a book, you know? And I was like, oh, well, like, okay, I'll write a book. And it was like super naive. I say this, it's like, I really just like, I literally said that like without a clue. I hadn't a clue. And I was in the zone. So I started writing, and just, I gave her, and I had the whole book done. I worked with an editor who I did a creative writing course, and part of the course was that you can work with this editor. And so I was able to kind of get a feel for what feedback I would get. And she wasn't the editor I hired. It was just kind of like a sample, but I really admired her because she's an author of she co-authored one of my favorite books too. So I was like, oh, super cool. Like, so I ended up doing that, writing the book through that. And then kind of just, as soon as I started, I'm like, why have I not been doing this the whole time? I love writing.
This is someone who was external to the course itself, and they brought in to edit for everyone in it, or just one or two? Yeah, how did that work?
It was a separate, so the creative storytelling course was like a course into itself. You can buy just this course, and then there was an option where you can buy the marketing section of it too, where they talk about the marketing process. And then another section of it was
I like this. Yeah.
That's, I know, right? It's like, we just jump in so naive. We haven't a clue. But then I got the buzz, so I love it. But yeah, no. And then the third part of it was that you can work with this editor. So I paid extra for like the whole of the course so that I can work with the editor and get that feel for it at all. Like,
fair. No, that's fun. I had in my professional writing program, which was like split business writing and creative writing, which I liked getting both, because some of it was marketing focused and internal business focused, and then some was creative.
Yeah.
And she taught the main editing course and one or two others. So one of my profs, though, she was and is an editor, and she has pretty steep rates because she earns it. Just some of the best editing I've ever seen. So when she marked one of your assignments, let alone a chapter I submitted, oh my gosh, I've never seen editing like that. I thought, this is how I want to be. This is how I want to be when I'm giving feedback to others. You know?
Yeah. Be able to give it to you straight.
Yeah, well, and give it in a way that is matches the intention and tone. So she was really good at getting into your own headspace, speaking your language, and giving suggestions that didn't feel like she was rewriting for you. It was options that you could use that fit perfectly, but that you could then tailor. But she would explain her rationales too, and she somehow did all of that in very little space, and she would do it for everything. Wow. So
that kind of work is just like, that baffles me. Like, my editor was a bit like that too, and it's like, I don't know how you do it. Like, and it's really just keeping your voice, right? And that's what makes a good editor, is somebody who can really maintain your voice while helping you to grow the work itself and improve the story.
Which is hard to do, because most editors are or were authors, and everyone wants to tell their own story, including through other people. Yeah,
that's true too.
Yeah,
I actually didn't know. I had to ask my editor. I'm like, are you a writer too? Like, do you write? She's like, yeah, I don't have published work, but like, I wrote since I was young, and then so it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nice when they know that they have that relatability. They understand the writing process too.
Yeah, essential probably.
I'd say so.
Definitely helps.
Yeah, I feel like there was a question that came up about explaining the books, but I guess that would come up.
Yeah, DL is asking. He says, show us the books.
Yeah.
Tell us which book behind you is your favorite, and what is the black sculpture?
I was showing Tim and Isaac earlier. It's Darth Vader.
What are my orders?
The orders are to sit down and be quiet during the interview, Mr. Vader.
Now he's going to make a comment throughout. Sorry.
That's so good.
I stole that from my son.
That's so good.
It will shut up, I swear.
It's even better just because we were talking last night with Lego Star Wars, behind Rowdy in the background. So now
it's why I asked. I was like, oh, no way. Somebody
good.
else.
Yeah. Now to know what you were talking about, like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the books are Bloodbound and Unbound, 1 and 2. And which one's my favorite?
I think you meant from all of the books behind you.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that's
what? I mean, how do you pick?
That's tough.
Yeah. They're both very dear to me. But of my books behind me?
Yes.
I have so many. I have like, if I pick one, I'm going to be like, okay, I really loved, I raved about it recently in another. It's like, I really loved The Child of Vanris by Nikki McCormack. Okay. And that whole series, like, it was not what I expected. I go in with every book with trepidation. Like, am I going to like this? What's it going to be like? And it was one of those ones that just like, it took me by surprise. And I think that's part of why I like also enjoyed it so much, was because I was like, whoa, I was not expecting, like, not that I was expecting it to be bad. I just didn't know what to expect. And I ended up really loving the concepts and the ideas and just this, it's sort of a magic. It's more like an ability system. Like,
okay,
they've got like abilities,
X-Men kind of thing, or
yeah,
like exercise.
Exercise, yes. I like the X-Men reference. Yes, exercise too. No, it's a very good series. I enjoyed that one. I read it last year. It was one of my favorites. Of course, I love The Fall of San Andreas behind me, and
I'll take it.
I feel like that should be an answer. When you're like, which one's your favorite?
No sucking up allowed here. But I love chatting last night.
Better pick the right book back there.
This was your chance. You missed it. Yeah. But I love it. Was fun talking last night, and there I am, not able, remembering a few quotes, but I've been so wrapped up in my novella. So I'm being asked, "What's your favorite quote from your own book?" And I'm like, I don't know. And then you're in the chat there giving off all the great quotes. And I'm like, oh.
In fairness, I did put them in my review on Goodreads. So like they were right there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I've got favorite quotes. I don't always pick favorite quotes either. Sometimes they just stand out. And those ones definitely just stood out to me. And I think it was also like the one where like, oh, and my dragon, mind my dragon. I was like, I felt like it was just the casuality of like throwing that phrase out there. And I was like, oh, I love that. Like, he's just so like, yeah, just, mind them.
Oh, get out of here, Mike. Just get out.
That book's over. I am so sorry, Mike. Bloodbound is 516 pages. Unbound, though, is 400. It's like 100 pages less. So
yeah, I was going to say, it's like
that's within Mike's limit.
Yeah. I did. It's funny because I sent him copies. He's got them in the stands and everything. So I sent as a thank you, and I was like, I know they're over the 500-page limit, but like if you ever feel like it, they're there.
We all make our excuses to get Mike to eventually, possibly, sort of, kind of, maybe someday read our books.
It's okay, no pressure.
Yeah, lots of pressure.
I never expect it of people, honestly. I'm just like, I'm honored when people do. It's one of those things that it's like, oh, you read it? Oh, thanks. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it still kind of comes to me like as a bit of a shock to me when, especially, I mean, I'm curious, how fast a reader are you? Because I know me, it takes a long time to get through my books. I used to be much faster than I am. And what that means is some people, I'll let them know, oh, hey, I just finished your book. And they'll be like, you've had that I thought you DNF'd because it's been so long.
Generally, I'm a very fast reader. I could read I read Unbound. I mean, I wrote it, but I read it like at Christmas time last year. Over a day. Like I read it. Like,
yeah, but that's your own book. That doesn't count.
That's my own book. No, I know. Okay. Let's see. One of my favorite. I read one of my favorite books. I read it in like a day. I could read them in a day. I can. Like if I really stop everything, and mind you, that's even cooking sometimes. Like I'll still get up and do stuff for my kids, and I'll still manage to do that. I don't know how. I just get right into it. But right now, I've been so slow with my reading. I've been in the middle of The Waking of Storm and Flame by Nick Betts. Okay, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I am reading it. I promise. I'm just like really slow right now. I'm so wrapped up in like I had a deadline for finishing the draft of the third book in the trilogy, and I didn't make that. I started working, and I ended up taking a casual job that turned into a full-time job, and ended up I was there every day, and I'm like, okay, so my date's not going to happen. And then I set a new one for like the end of June 30th. I'm like, no, but I know at least in my head that I'm gonna be late for it, but at least it's just there to kind of like stick to as a reference point and be like, aim for this.
Yeah.
So I'm about like a week away from finishing it. Like it's really, really close. So while I'm like just focused and trying to get this done, my reading has just, I've not been doing a whole ton of it.
Yeah, especially when you're close to the end. Hard, very hard to keep.
Yeah, exactly. And I told my parents, I was like, I'm explaining stuff to them and I'm getting excited. And like I write like I read, you know, like I want to know what happens next. I know what happens next in my head, but I want to see it. Like so I get really fast at the end.
How many books do you have planned in your series?
This one will be the trilogy. So this third one that I'm writing will wrap it up. And it's actually a prequel to Bloodbound. And like it's funny because I'm like, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, still start with Bloodbound. Don't start with the prequel. And go Bloodbound, Unbound, and then back to the prequel. And then it will hopefully make you want to read Bloodbound immediately right after.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do like cliffhangers, but the way that it kind of ends, the note that it ends on, it's the idea is like, it will tie together into the whole thing much smoother when the third one's there. And it's like, so
it'll make it kind of a new experience to reread the other two again.
A little bit. Yeah. That's the plan. You know, executing it is an entirely different thing, but.
Well, and so I think I heard you say that, so I mean, Bloodbound comes before Unbound, but did I hear that Unbound was kind of your original idea? So it's kind of like now you've done two prequels almost to.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't.
So now I'm curious then, like writing a prequel, the first you wrote Bloodbound first, which is kind of a prequel to the story, but now you're writing a prequel to that. Has it been like different challenges to like writing a prequel to something that's already written versus writing a prequel to something you haven't written yet?
Yes, you know? Yeah. And I did draft the whole series, like initially, like just so that there was no discrepancies. Yeah. And so it was like, I did that, but then when I put Bloodbound in with my editor, it was an entire rewrite. So many things changed. It didn't really affect the second book so much as it affected the third, the prequel before. And only in certain ways, because I made decisions as I wrote, knowing that I would have to stick to those. Like I was aware that I was going to be writing a prequel and knowing full well that certain things, as soon as I write it, that's it. Like it's got to stay.
Yeah.
So I think that's also partially why I did it this way, because I need certain things to stay in order for the story to remain true to the story, to what it is. But I know myself and I want to change things because it's one of those things. It's the story's there, and I know that the story has to stay the way that it is. But parts of me are like, but no. I don't.
Yeah, but once you click that publish button, it's set in stone.
Yeah. So I kind of forced myself to stay through, to follow through with this plan, and you know, I really hope it pays off, because it's definitely challenging writing this book and knowing. And I've had certain moments where I'm like, well, maybe I can, like, you know, kind of squeak around this little thing and make it not so, like, you know, maybe because people understand things differently too, right? There's always perception. So when you're reading Bloodbound, it's read from the perception of these characters, but that's not always the way that true history, like, you know, we can remember things from history, but we weren't there. We don't know for sure. Like, whereas like I'm like, oh, I could do something like that. I'm like, no, I have to stay true to the story, true to what happens. And it's difficult, but it's got a purpose. It's got a plan. And hopefully will make an impact, you know, like for the whole series. That's the hope.
So the chronological order of the books are 2, 3, then 1?
The chronological order?
Yeah.
So the one I'm writing right now would come first, like chronologically.
So
okay, so you wrote them backwards.
Yeah, way backwards.
What made you decide to go that route? Because you drafted the whole thing, you decided to start right there. So that's very unique. That's a very fun way to do it.
I feel like I'm just giving a taste of what's in my brain and how twisted everything is. It's like really just a web of everything, and I don't know how I can keep track of it. I wrote 4 point of view characters in Bloodbound, and I was like, it wasn't actually that hard for me to do, because I'm just like, I just feel like my brain is always like twisting webs here and there. And so I think it's,
now imagine my brain having read my book, right?
Yeah, right. It's it was just, you know, Bloodbound was the prequel to Unbound, because Unbound was always, like you said, the original idea, based off of a dream I had years ago that I wanted to just kind of take this scene. It was more of the world itself that stood out to me in the dream. I really wanted to write this this setting, And so that was what inspired most of what the story is. And the characters were always kind of like there. They just appeared. They were just there. I don't ever remember having like a thought of like, well, who is this person? Who's that person? It's like, oh, they're just that's the so-and-so. So it's yeah, just the way my brain works backwards.
So you've been blessed with madness. Is what you're saying.
I don't know. Is it a blessing, a curse? Sounds like yeah.
So what was the initial dream that, because it sounds like the start with a dream. What was the initial dream, if you don't mind me asking?
It was like, oh man, the only things that really stood out to me were the cave. And in Unbound, there is a cave scene, but it was like this vine like comes and like grabs him by the ankle or whatever, pulls him into the water, into this cave. And I'm like, that, I don't know why I'm dreaming that as a child. Don't ask me what I ate before. I don't know. But yeah, this dream of this cave and this scene and this antagonist, this villainous kind of character being, for the longest time I didn't know, it was just a voice in the darkness in my dream sort of thing. So for a while, like in the original like idea, I was thinking, oh, maybe like there's a dragon down there. I would have loved to write a dragon in there, but the more it kind of evolved into the story that it is, I was like, no, it's a person, and it's like a.
So telling me there's no dragons?
Not in this one. I've got a story coming later that will at least there's a reference to dragons in this one, and it's about another one of the countries. So it's expanding on this world, but it's it just kind of took off in a way that, however that works, dragons and caves to beautiful bioluminescent forests, all that.
Oh, that's always fun.
Oh yeah, I loved like the neon glowing like flowers and plants. That was the big thing for me with the world building. I'm like, I've got to have this forest that just glows like with like I love fireflies. They're one of my favorites, and it's just like we
both like our interesting forests. So you've got both of us, I think, with this description right here. Already done.
A glowing forest. It was something that just stood out, and I had to write it. So when they did the cover for Bloodbound, it was done like in red and gold because Bloodbound, I mean, people automatically associate that with kind of the color red. And I'm like, no, I would like a hint of red, but it really has to be this blue, hazy purple, because that's what I think of like Aurora Borealis, like the kind of lights. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, let's flip through it here. Yeah, okay.
And they'd originally said like, oh, we don't know if we could do that, like change the color and everything. I'm like, oh, like, well, it's
too hard
to
change the color.
It was like, it's kind of a big deal for me. Like that's one of the I wasn't picky about a lot of things, but I was like, the color has to be this blue hazy color. So they managed to do it. I'm like, yes, exactly. And then the blood with the red. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, it's a fun cover. I like this. I like the silver tree. And the blue haze and the gem caught in the roots, that I really like. Whatever's going on. Yeah.
I will say
the Firestone, but
yeah. They used a different image. I sent them a picture of an Adobe stock image of what I imagined the Firestone to kind of be based off of, which is actually the one I used in Unbound, the cover, because I was like, this is what it's supposed to look like. But they used a different one, I guess, because of Adobe licensing rights. But I could have easily
just $15.
I know, it's like I could send you the thing. Like
we've got this one here too. Okay, so this is a closer feel to what it should look like.
The stone, it's a little bit more of that like glowing. I like glowing. My daughter had a glow party recently, and I was right in there like, let's do the neon black lights, and I still got them beside me. Exactly.
That's awesome.
So it was just the stone wasn't quite right. So then I was like, oh, now it feels off. And I have in my head that maybe down the road I'd like to do another edition of like covers illustrated, like as a set sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, and we'll see, because I know people too, like I know that like as soon as you see a cover, that's what you associate. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I know you did it, Tim, and it's fantastic. Your cover is excellent. And I'm like, I want to do that.
That's the thing. Yeah, it was absolutely the right move in my case to do essentially two covers, which was somewhat an accident of just circumstance, but like it worked. I mean, I don't think you're bound to an original cover, because you see second editions of trad pub books come out all the time.
Yeah. I liked your play on words there, bound. No pun intended.
Okay, pun intended, but no, I'm not that smart today, so that was an accident, but I love it.
Witty remarks over there.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
but no, they're both amazing covers. They both,
Thank you.
That helps. That it definitely helps.
It does. Yeah. I know that I found out afterwards that silver tree for Bloodbound was generated using AI. And I have problems with that. I know there's different viewpoints on that, but I'm like,
as opposed to the $15 Adobe stock, AI is sometimes free.
Yeah, well, I know. and apparently there was a mark that you can like tick off on your like thing whether you were okay with using it or not. I don't remember seeing it, and if there was, I didn't obviously tick it. But I'm like, if there's no tick mark on either one, wouldn't you like want to clarify? So anyway, that was my only kind of like issue that came up, and now I'm like bothered by that little. I'm probably the only one who's really bothered by it, but it is a gorgeous cover
too. Because I mean, we both, we have some similar experiences, and I can tell you, I did not have that tick box option. Now they didn't use AI in my case, but what they did give was so bad that I was almost the moment I said bye-bye, I'm doing this myself.
I remember, you showed me. I was like, oh my goodness, really? It's not.
I need to find the. Anyways, those stories for another context. But wow, So I'm glad you got better.
Yeah. I did have another cover. I think we talked about this too. I did have another cover commissioned, and it was an artist who did a digital drawing, and it was a beautiful drawing. Like there was nothing wrong with it, except when I kind of like after I decided to go with Freeze and Press with the publishers, they offer that as a service, and I was like, well, I have a cover. Like I'm like, it's already paid for in my service, so I'll see what you got, and then like compare. And when I compared, it kind of lined up a little bit more with the tones, where the other one, it looks fantasy, but it almost looks like a little younger, like middle grade-ish. It was just the tone, the way that it kind of, and maybe it was the font too. Like I only had a selection of a certain couple of fonts, and I didn't love any of them really. I kind of just picked the ones I liked the most or hated the least.
Hated the least, yeah, exactly.
So it was like, I love the image of the tree that he did, because he did an image, like a drawing of this tree. But I was like, can I just use that and like use my own fonts? But I'm like, I don't know where to draw the line, what's okay, what's not either. I don't want to be like, I like this part of your work, but not this, like, it wasn't like that. I just, it didn't line up with my vision for it. And I had to kind of make a call. It was really tough because you hate letting people down, and he obviously put work into it. I did pay him for the job, so it wasn't like he didn't get paid. It was just, I'm sorry, it's not going to be on my book, and it's not the publicity then, I guess, at that point. But
but I know, I mean, you paid, that's always the risk with a service like that. But it is tough. Like you ultimately have to do what's best for your story.
And I wanted it to draw the appropriate audience. And if it looks like a younger read and older people are walking past, they're going to be like, oh, like, so that was,
So navigating the publishing world, you've done a more of a traditional style publisher, and then is the new one indie?
Yes, completely.
The new one is completely you.
So compare those two paradigms. Which do you recommend for the uninitiated?
For the uninitiated. Okay. So my experience with the publishers was fantastic for a first-time experience. I had never done any of it. I treated it like an education. I needed to learn these things before I can go and do it. If I wanted it to come across like looking professional, because if I had just done it on my own off of videos, I might have real amateur and pull it off as like, fake it till I make it kind of thing. But the experience for learning was really good. As a second-time author, not so much, because they don't offer separate. This particular company didn't offer separate packages that accommodated things that I had already done or didn't need. Like they offer a website, they offer marketing 101, they offer like all these services as a part of their package, and editors too. But I'm like, I hire my own editor outside of, so I also didn't need that either. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I learned, I really enjoyed that experience. Now, from a financial perspective, not so much, because it's a lot of money.
Adds up very quickly. And
it was a one-time payment, so like it was a big chunk of change kind of thing for the initial service. But then I'm learning now, like 2 years later, okay, so now when I want to buy a bulk order of my books, they still take a cut, I think. And it's way more expensive to buy from the exact same printers, because they're local to me, the printing press. And so I can drive and pick up from there, save myself on shipping for the same, like, so I buy like the bulk order of books, and I did Unbound and I picked them up, and it was less than half the price to do that. And they're not that big a difference in the size of books. So I was like, okay, so I actually don't want to pay like this much money to buy if I need to stock up on books, which I will soon, right? So it's like when they have a distribution fee every year, they require you pay to keep it up on Ingram and on the distributors.
I remember
and
that.
So I'm like, okay, so it's coming up for renewal. I think I paid for 2 years. So October it comes up for renewal. And I'm like, I'm going to pull it. I'm probably going to have to buy back my look of my book. Otherwise, I'm redoing a cover, reformatting, redoing all these things to publish it myself. Or I can just buy the book as is, like the design they used, inside and out, and just republish it wherever I like, however I like. So I'm going to do that, because then I can also set my prices on the wholesale distributors and on Amazon and all these places where I can't change it right now if I want to make anything. Like if I can change it, it costs me to change it. And it also knocks down the royalties significantly, because I think they still take a cut. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're I got lucky. I pulled out, very early in this whole process. So, there was still some things I paid for, mostly just editing and the covers I didn't keep and a few other things, but much less than it could have been, including a lot of those fees I saw. And I was like, excuse me? And it was all those little hidden costs that were in there. I was like, oh boy. And then they own you from that point forward,
Yeah, unless
so
you buy it back.
I ran fast and hard. But at least in my case, if it had happened at even a year earlier in my life, I would have been hesitant. But I had just come out of taking formatting and book design courses in my writing program in college. It was the college program I took after university. And because we dealt with a lot of that stuff, the formatting was one of the ones I was most worried about. I was like, wait, I know how to do this. And then I saw, and they did it, and it was not even as good as like what my classmates had done for some of theirs. And I thought, wait, I know how to do this. And now I've seen someone do it somewhat okay. Oh, this is what I would do different. This is what I do. I think over a weekend, I redid the formatting myself. And it was a long weekend, but
I bet.
But oh my gosh, it felt good. And then I looked at it, I was like, yeah, that's right. It was kind of a very weirdly satisfying feeling. The only thing was then having to redo the cover, which itself, as you know, was a long journey. But
it's and you had a nice cover, like as just to go with for the time, like too. It was very like you knew. I guess, did you know you were going to do the illustrated cover down the road? Like, was that always kind of?
Well, the short story there is that like I had someone in mind, but the wait list was a solid year and a half. Okay. So I wasn't going to wait a year and a half to publish. That there had already been a huge, like very long, like just very protracted journey. So I thought, no way am I waiting an extra year and a half. So I'll publish now, get the cover later. And then I ended up finding someone, frankly, who was just incredible on every level, Joe, who ended up doing the final cover. And he was ready to do it a month later. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm getting a new cover much sooner than expected. So
and it's perfect. The process is definitely like intimidating when you think about all that there is to do. And all you who self-publish as well know, right? It's like, it's just, I think it was I was on Bald and Balding actually on my show, and we were talking about it, and I was planning on going with Friesen Press for the second book. I was kind of set up to start. I had already finished the book, like the second book, and it was done. It just kind of needed those last touches of a copy edit and the proofreading, and then like the cover, which would have come with Friesen Press sort of thing. And I think it was Ro who was like, wait, it's all done and you have to wait till spring? I was like, like, it's just like, because I didn't have the money. Like it was a money thing. And it was like,
I think that's why a lot of people just go trad, from the get-go, even if it means doing years of querying to maybe get an agent, to then maybe get a publisher, to then maybe get your book actually come out 2 years later or more. But people are willing to do that because they're so intimidated by the process of just putting it out yourself, because there are a lot of steps.
There really are. And I had to like make myself checklists, and I was like, and the biggest thing I was concerned about was the cover, because I wanted it to line up with Bloodbound. I wanted it to like share similar tones. I was particular about the greenish tones because I'm kind of going with the theme here, like for the covers. And I did hire somebody for that too. I had a really bad experience with like, not just, it was like one of those things where I had hired him, asked him if he would be able to kind of like do something with the like similar tones. He's like, yeah, no problem. And in fairness, like he did exactly what I asked. It was just like there were certain things, it got to a point, I'd asked about something with the font. I wanted sort of a gradient. Like I work Photoshop. I'm a photographer as well. So like Photoshop, and that's kind of like, I know my stuff around there. So I'm like, I have a vision. And I was like, I just want like a gradient in the lettering. Like it's really, for me, that's super easy to do because I do it all the time with different things.
Yeah.
And I guess whatever program he was using, he couldn't. And I was like, I don't know, in my head, I'm like, I'm paying you money to do it. I would expect there to be like a program usage that would allow you to do such things, because I'm like, I wouldn't consider myself professional by any stretch, but like, that's a 20-minute job for me, like if that even, like, so I was kind of like disappointed there. But, and then when I got the cover, I found out that we were using the same tree emblem initially, and it was going to be like split down with like like in the second book in Unbound, there's the stone has those crackly bits in the, like it's kind of got that broken black veiny bits. The tree was going to have that down the middle with like kind of almost black substance sort of thing, like kind of oozing. I don't know.
Okay,
it was like still with using the emblem, but then I realized that, I have to license the actual like Adobe stock image to use it still if I want to use it now, because it's my own. And I was like, I can't justify using that same image now, knowing what I know about like it was generated. So I was like, it was the big kind of like pushed me over one side or the other sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna wing it.
When you shared that news initially, I was just like, oh no, like that sucks to get blindsided by.
Yeah. They did edit. Like somebody was editing it, obviously. Like whoever he or she took the generated AI image and edited an entire image around it. But the fact that it was still no, he couldn't do Korean font. And it was this font. Like I actually purchased and licensed this font myself, and I just sent it along so that he could like use it for my cover. I don't know if that's allowed. I was like, I don't know if I'm like crossing lines I'm not supposed to. I purchased it. It's on the book that I'm selling. So it was fine. You're good. Mine. Yeah. Like here I am. I worry about live on the internet announcing this.
Yeah. It's okay. They're probably not watching.
I'm naive and oblivious to these things unless told otherwise.
I hear you. I totally hear you.
But the font is mine, and I purchased it because it's the same font they used on Bloodbound, and I was particular again about the lining up. So I went and got this image from Adobe stock, and I played around with it, and then I did this gradient in the text in the title, and I'm like, that was really easy though. Like why? So it was just like, as soon as I did that though, my husband's like, why don't you just do it? And I'm like, because I can't put my work out there like that. Like that's like, no, I don't mind putting my writing out there, but as soon as it's my work in image, I've always felt that way. I'm not like, I don't do photography anymore. There was always that feeling of like, it's not good enough. And I know it's only me and other people like compliment and everything, but it's just like, it's one of those things that I'm not confident enough in my work in that regard to put out and feel like that's excellent. So I'm still kind of like, I don't know. My husband Colin, he's like, I don't know what your problem is. It's fine. He's so matter of fact. It's like, what's your problem? It looks good.
Well, I feel like a lot of things in this process, we're all, you think it's just writing, and then you actually get into the game of being an author, and there's so many other skills that you have to add to the stack. And every single one of them is going through that same process, because writing, we're still learning, but we've at least have the confidence to put something out there. But now you have to manage the marketing and the design elements, which no matter what come up, even if you're just asking a trad publisher, to do what you want, if you can't communicate that, it's going to be that much harder. I don't know if EL Lyons is still around. EL, if you're still around, but she has an art Discord that she started.
Yeah, I'm on that one.
Okay, yes, so it's all talking about this exact thing, and I'm always looking. I'm like, I'm having this exact thought. I'm like, oh, this would be fun to try, maybe for a novella or something, just to see. But I'm not there yet. I'm definitely in the hell to the no, and plus I don't trust myself. You at least have background in this. Whenever I try something in this domain, oh boy, I'm saving my readers from despair.
It's a scary step to take for sure. And even still, I look at the cover for Unbound and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I put it out there and it's what I wanted. It's just like, because it's my own work, I think I'll always have that like critical eye for it. Always, we're our own worst critics kind of thing.
Yeah. Never goes away. Yeah, and there, Il is here saying all the different things. The meme one I really like. There's a critical skill right there. I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all good.
What am I doing? I know that's the thing. And I know that. So part of me is like, okay, well, I should just do it, put it out there, get feedback, do it again. That's my principle with writing. Is you can. There's so many authors who will write for years without ever letting someone else see it, but you will never grow as an author until you finally at least get feedback.
Yeah. That was when I gave my first copy of Bloodbound to my editor. I was like, I can't believe I showed somebody that. I can't believe I showed multiple people that. It was rough.
I mean, but that's the joy of editors, is they at least get to help you out with that.
Yeah, and she was so encouraging. Like when she didn't come back and say like, "Oh, this is awful," like what goes on in your head. It was like, "Oh, okay, like this is actually okay."
Yep, that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Did you find this? I'm curious about on the editing side. I've had mixed experiences here. Again, I had the one that was really good, and then I've had some where it was different levels of skill that factors in. But I love when I feel like I've become a better writer by the time I'm done working with an editor. Like if they work themselves out of a job, I'm happy. You know what I mean? And that's the goal. And even when I'm helping someone, I usually try to work myself out of a job. If they come back to me, I'm like, I thought I taught you this already. Go back, do it yourself.
Yeah. When I worked with my editor the first time, obviously I said it was rough, and her work, like her notes were like that, what you described with every section with like suggestions and this, like it was extensive. She had a whole style sheet. She had commented notes and suggestions for all sorts of things. And it was fantastic. I used all that and I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, this helps me going forward for sure. Yeah. So when I wrote Unbound, she had stopped editing and now she's doing book coaching, and she's just kind of focusing on a 6-month writing program, like write and finish your book in 6 months. And she coaches you through the process from beginning to end. But I'm like, I need editing though. But then she offered for myself as a previous client, she's like, well, I also can do a manuscript evaluation for you as like, basically beta reading from a professional editing perspective. Yeah. And so she had done that for me, and she's like, wow, you're actually like, you've leveled up, like, and she's like, I actually don't feel like you would have needed the extensive developmental kind of like editing. This was just exactly like, it was perfect to do the manuscript evaluation. So it's like, yeah, I think I learned a lot from her, and I credit her to that, because that level up was only because she was so great at what she did, at what she does.
Fair. Yep. Okay, I'm loving these comments here about book memes. Yeah,
we're having like a gospel revival in the chat here.
I see some pop up, but I don't get to. I'm so. It's like a skill to be able to read those in converse. I am not the greatest multitasker by any stretch. So I'm like, oh yeah, I got to stop what I'm saying to read.
We have an advantage. That's the great thing about two of us getting to talk here, is because any one of us can be reading the chat while the other.
Excellent. I like this system.
It works. I don't know how. I see, whenever I see someone doing one of these alone, I'm thinking, how? Just how? Because it's great. It's so, you're just having a conversation, with friends and chatting about books. But when you add something like this in, and all the background video management things, it adds up quick. And multitasking.
I think what EL, the truth that she has discovered is cats sell books.
Where's my cat? She's around somewhere.
Write a book and put a cat on that cover, then take it next to a cat.
I think I saw that one too.
Infinite money glitch right there. I mean,
that's good.
That's so fun. Somebody else said in another, I think it was on Mike's show, they were talking about their dog and how like it just blew up, and they were like, I just posted a picture of my dog with my it's like, okay, so I'm gonna find my cat and put her on top of it.
Yeah, that feels like a good strategy. Yeah.
On the farm, we had like 17 cats running all everywhere. They were good cats too, because we had German Shepherds that would just terrorize them as kittens and basically turn them into dogs.
There you go.
So they were great cats. They were great with the kids. You can grab them, you can roll with them. They never bite or scratch. They loved it.
Wow.
They were good cats. I miss our cats and dogs.
You can sometimes tell when they're like wild, when they're like barn cats, that's nice though. If they were, we had a cat and he was barn cat for sure. And he took off all the time. And I'm pretty sure he got eaten by coyotes because he didn't come back after. It was like, and we were pretty good about trying to keep them in the house. But once they're wild, like once they want to go out, there's really no stopping them.
None of these cats were allowed in the house. They were Oklahoma outside cats. They were eating the snakes. They were eating mice and rats and rabbits. Doing their job. Yeah. We looked outside. We saw one of the smaller cats just carrying a rabbit as big as he was, just across the yard.
Oh my goodness.
Were there any? You were just in Oklahoma. Were there any out there for this trip, or did they not have any?
We didn't go by the old farm. We sold it. We drove by it. We saw the new owners have changed nothing.
Okay.
We stayed at a friend's house. We saw a lot of spiders and flies and little crawlies. Yes, Oklahoma, yes, where that song is from,
is Britain.
That is correct.
He's speaking his language now. Yep.
It was a good time.
Yeah, we always had usually a dog and 2 to 3 cats. At one point 4. That was wild because we were always in like a not small. Well, it was a townhouse. It wasn't small, but it wasn't big either. So for 5 pets, that's a lot. And they were great, but we always had at least one cat that was an outdoor cat, and that's interesting because then they come home with with everything from rabbits to mice to birds. Nothing's better than them just letting loose a live bird in your house.
Totally.
All the time. Actually,
my cat is outdoor, but she's a prissy little thing, and she comes over and she's just like dainty as ever. She's like tiny too. She's really like, I don't know what she is. I feel like she's a Persian, almost like she's got the really like long hair. And she's
Persian.
Yes, I don't know. She's just super like prissy. She doesn't kill things. To your job, cat.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
I did deduce that you were in Oklahoma.
The secret's out.
Wasn't in the name, eh?
Yeah, that's funny. I feel like we had one cat. Now we got her. I think she was she was a stray who just came around the neighborhood and probably smelled the other cats that we had and kept coming to our door and was there for like weeks before we were finally like, we're just taking her in. This is ridiculous.
Did you guys buy your cats?
Most, all but a few. But a few were strays.
We've never bought a cat ever.
I inherited mine.
They came to us. Our dog chased down a kitten one time. So we spent like for first maybe 7 years in the farm. We inherited an old cat we called Chester.
Okay.
He was this big old guy. He
Great
disappeared for 6 months. He'll come back all grizzled and like he's just fought a war.
Oh,
really wild.
Yeah. So eventually I guess he found heaven and he never returned again. So we went like maybe 4 or 5 years, no cats at all. We had some dogs, and then a dog chased a kitten into our little patio. So we got the kitten, we raised this little kitten, and that kitten became, through magic, 17 kittens. And
through magic? How did that happen?
Magic. I don't know. I heard some witchcraft happening outside, some loud screaming and wailing of cats. But
I believe that.
And wailing of cats.
Terrible. The wailing of cats. It's like the Silence of the Lambs outside. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
We had good cats. I only had to get rid of one of them. He would he liked to climb on my mother. He would run and grab onto her legs because he loved her so much. So mom was like, you gotta get rid of this cat. So I put the cat in my car. I drove 5 minutes down the road. I did whoop.
Oh,
took care of the problem. I left him right next to a house at the playground. So
it's gonna go find a new house.
Oh yeah, he happily ever after.
Yeah, they do. They're very like that's instinctive for them, right? Like they will survive. Most of them, except for mine who took off. I mean, I don't know that he did it.
It's the Schrodinger's cat.
Oh my god!
I mean, they're both alive and dead until they're observed.
Yeah.
So,
well, he was known to wander into people's we're in cabin country, so where I live, only about 30% of our area live here year round.
Fair.
He would go into cabins and he would venture into like other people's places. And I'm like, I'm sorry if my cat ends up in your house.
That is funny. Yeah.
So
That's the beginning of a horror movie where I come to my cabin and I open the door and there's just a dead cat sitting in the house that just got trapped in there.
I did ask my neighbors once. I'm like, can you please check if my cat's in there? He might be dead. I'm sorry. I was devastated and then having to tell them, but he wasn't. It wasn't that neighbor. If it was somebody else, I don't know. But
we have strayed dangerously from the safe living cat in a picture selling books to tales of dead cats. So
we are learning a lot about each other. It's great. They say people buy. We established people buy for cats, and we're now learning about our little. Yeah, anyone who likes cats is going to be buying our books now. This is great. Trinity, you probably just made like 5 customers today.
Hey, cool. I like your subtlety, Isaac.
Speaking of subtlety, I've created a game.
Yeah, let's play a game.
So after I got back from my airplane, I sat down. I gotta make some kind of game now.
Ooh,
so I don't remember exactly what I put together, but we're gonna discover it all together. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
This is called Terror of the World Builders.
Okay.
So I figured since you're a fantasy author, you gotta have at least a little bit of world building in your bones.
Yeah, got a little bit.
So I have a bit of a world building exercise. I'm not sure how good of an exercise it's going to be because I don't remember what I did.
Okay.
But basically, I think I'm giving you options. You got to do some world building. I think this is how it's going to go.
I think
we're describing
my improv. Oh, sorry, Tim.
So yeah, we're giving you a scene, I think, and then or something, and you have to world build with a twist.
Okay. I'm gonna warn you. My improv and coming up with things on the spot is always like terrible. I'll get off. And be
don't worry.
I could have done this.
That's my favorite kind of player.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you've been on Mirthquake, right? With
not as a guest like individual. I went on a panel for the
right. You're on a panel. Okay, so yeah,
you should do Mirthquake. Mirthquake is fun.
It's on the agenda. Well, it's not on the calendar yet, but
very fun. Yeah, because the game. What does he always call the game at the end?
Pitch storm.
Pitch storm.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was like, it's something.
And the first time I went on, this kind of thing used to stress me out until playing it there. I was like, oh wait, this is hilariously stupidly fun.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Hilariously stupid.
So let's do
fun
it.
is great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first one. So I'm gonna give you. Here's some lady. Here's just some lady, peasant woman, fantasy setting. Who is this? Who is this person? What does she do? But I as your editor, needs to be a little bit evil. This person, this lady. What's her name?
Agatha.
Oh, Agatha. She looks like an Agatha.
That was my thought.
I see it.
Agatha. Yeah. So what's evil about Agatha?
I feel like she slips things into people's food. I don't know. I feel like
bits of glass or like
I don't know
plants or
maybe poison.
Poison. I said a little evil.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So she spits in people's food. I don't know.
Oh, she's a food spitter. Agatha, the food spitter. She looks like a food spitter.
She's got that look. She's just got this look in her eye that it's like, oh, she's doing something evil.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's not even a twist. I look at that image and I'm already scared.
Yeah.
I'm already like this is like Silent Hill happening right here. You know?
Okay. Well, Tim, give us one other little twist in addition to the food spitting.
Something like, but still all along the themes or a different twist for Trinity. I'm thinking, what's the difference
for this lady, for Agatha?
Yeah, what's something else we can throw at you?
A little bit evil.
Yeah. That's tough.
I think maybe she has like a club foot because people's club feet are evil.
Hopefully nobody watching has club feet.
No. All the twists.
No, maybe she was born with a club foot and she was mistreated, and that made her a little bit angry.
Okay, that's an origin story right there.
Like a Witcher here with the hunchback, right?
Yeah. Okay, so Agatha, the club-footed food spitter.
It's so bad.
Here she is, and she lives in some place. So, what is this place she lives in? What's it called? Where's it from? And is my twist? I want to be a little cursed.
Okay. I do well with cursed lands, you know. That's that's a thing in Bloodbound.
We're throwing you a softball here.
It's a softball. Let's call it. Oh man, names are. Like I said, they usually come to me like really easily, but now I'm on the spot.
No more than 7 syllables, or I'll get angry.
Okay, so not super crazy long. Let's call it Virarath.
Virarath,
like with the A. Virarath.
Okay.
Poor Agatha, the club-footed food spitter, lives in Virgorath.
You're pronouncing it wrong.
Oh, give it one more time. What?
Virarath.
Virarath. So
like
Vera.
like WRATH at the end, like Virarath.
Yeah, spelling's not going to help me.
Okay.
It's not going to help at all. So what kind of place is this? Is it like a desert? Is it a I almost said food court. Is it I'm so tired. I meant to say jungle, it came out food court.
I like the look of that food court.
Yeah,
she lives in a massive food court.
Yeah.
Well, it looks mountainous to me with some tree. It looks like a vineyard a little bit right in the middle there. Let's call it a vineyard.
You could go off this picture or completely veer away.
Oh, okay. Well, I like a vineyard. That actually sounds like, kind of spooky for Agatha.
Okay. Agatha with her poor club foot going down the vineyard row. Her step uncle screaming at her. Go faster, you food spitter.
Does he know though? Does he know?
Yeah, people know. People know.
Okay.
She can't get away fast enough. It'd be a food spitter. You'd have a quick getaway.
How do you think she got the name?
She's the food spitter. What is cursed about this place? Viral wrath. Virarath.
No L, but that's okay. I'm making it up as I go here, so I really can't correct it.
There we go.
That's close. Yeah. I like that spelling.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Makes it as easy as possible.
This is my brain on that.
So good. This is what it's all about.
What was the question? Sorry.
What's cursed about Virarath?
Ooh, the grapes. Yeah, grapes grow on vines. They grow poisonous. I like why is with me and poison tonight? I don't know.
So they grow poisonous grapes.
Mm-hmm. And not kill you poison. Maybe they're make you really, really ill.
Yeah, they make you diarrhea.
They give you the run. They give you the run.
Yeah, maybe. Sucks.
So Agatha, the club-footed food spitter, grows diarrhea vineyard.
That wasn't my words.
To make diarrhea wine that her uncle sells as sells them to poisoners.
No, it's like a diet thing, It's a system cleanser.
No, but it's cursed though. It's cursed though. So I mean, they can't sell it.
Can't be beneficial, yeah.
Well, I mean, you could use a curse to your advantage if you know about the curse.
That's just creative, yeah.
So maybe he's growing these cursed grapes that gives you severe diarrhea, and he's an entrepreneur, the step uncle. He knows he could sell this to somebody who wants to give somebody diarrhea.
A little black market under the table.
So I'm imagining that the wine probably tastes fine. It just gives you severe diarrhea.
Poor victims of that. I mean, it's a laxative if that's the case.
People are always spitting in their food, and then they can't even keep it down in the end.
Man. Okay, so Agatha, the club-footed food spitter, grows diarrhea wine in the country of Virarath, and in this country, she finds.
Here we go.
Something.
Ooh, looks like a dagger to me.
Something changes her life. Now it doesn't have to be a dagger.
I was going to say I don't.
Be as creative as possible. I want this thing she finds to be a little bit odd.
Okay. A poker chip.
She finds a poker chip. I
Oh.
like that. A little shiny. So she poor Agatha, the food spitter.
That's
going down the vineyard vines. Because those vineyards get really dusty. I don't know if either of you been in a vineyard before.
I've been around lots of grapevines, but not a full vineyard. So
I have.
They get dusty. you kind of get a cough after a while. So you're pulling these big leaves out so you can get to the grape clusters, and you're dropping them in the basket that's really heavy. You got to take down the line. And just she's doing this, she finds this beautiful little poker chip. Maybe it fell out of her step-uncle's pocket. Maybe he goes to gamble in town. But what's odd about this poker chip? What's the odd thing?
You're asking me what's odd about it?
Yeah, what's odd about it?
Ooh, it's a button.
It's a button? So
Yeah.
she's stupid. She thinks it's a poker chip.
No.
I'll take this to town.
It's a poker chip, but like it's a special one. It's a button. It's a magical one.
Oh,
That's where I was going with that.
So maybe if
you push it a button or a button on.
No, like you push it. Yeah. Like
Okay. Yeah. See, I immediately thought.
Sorry, I should have clarified. I didn't even think of the other guy. that's
I thought it was.
She's trying to push in. She's trying to cash in a clothing button.
I found this.
I like
you
that.
can't fool me. You're Agatha the food spitter. This is a button. Go back to your diarrhea vineyard.
I feel like the story took an odd twist in so many ways.
Poor Agatha. See how fun world building is?
It is fantastic.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Where's the story? Is there more?
So this is my last slide, but let's end it like this. So Agatha in this place finds this thing. What's like the opening line for her story? Like where does this go for her?
The opening line.
It doesn't be an opening line. I mean, just like this is like the setup. Where does this take her?
No, let's see. There's so many things you could do with a magic button. Like could do portals, or it takes her to like a magical, like a crazy casino, or she could get a job and sell her. Do like you know what it made me think of? Percy Jackson when they're like in that casino and they're like trapped in there, and like she could she could have some role in there, like casino. But like with her soup spitting poisonous vineyard.
She's really good at spitting. She's got that. She's good at poisoning people with the wine that's cursed.
Yeah. And then I feel like I want to backtrack and not do a casino. I'm like, maybe there's something else. There's got to be something better.
An Olive Garden. A real life Olive Garden.
Yeah, right.
Good. I've read, I think, the first 2 or 3 Percy Jackson books. But to me, it's the original, not the show. The show's I didn't mind the show. I watched, I think, most of it, at least for season 1 that they came out with on Disney Plus.
This isn't a very good review so far.
But the movie, I love the actors, but overall the movie kind of had its ups and downs. But that casino scene, I watched that movie over and over again just to laugh at that scene. It's so darn funny.
I had never read them until March, and I read all 5 of them in a week. Like it was like it was just like a zip through them real quick. But no, the movies were not done well compared to, for sure. And I haven't seen the show, so I don't know.
Yeah. The show is better, I would say, in terms of quality, but the movie was all over the map. And some of the you would know. I'm sure you have a whole other take on movies, coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was. I was like this. Like you said, though, the actors were great, and it wasn't like anything. It was
terribly done. Yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like Agatha. She meets the Percy Jackson crew and poisons them. Thank you for playing. What was this game called? Something the Terror of the World Builders. Thank you for playing Terror of the World Builders. We'll bring this game back again. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This one has.
Any of you people watching want to play Terror of the World Builders? Let us know.
I didn't do it justice. I'm like in my head, I could come up with such better stories than that, but it's like on the spot.
I fell in love with Agatha the Food Spitter.
Yeah, I want to know what happens next.
Conflict. Where's the conflict?
So good. I'm reading Timothy Wolf's. I just started on his novella, Lord Mute, but come on, Whispers.
Whispers of the something God.
Yeah, how am I messing up? Clearly, I am as tired as you are today. My gosh, I did a lot of editing today, so I am pretty much fried. But I mean, I get the hype for that book now. It's really fun, and kind of that it's this, should not be a lovable character, and that makes the character all the more lovable. I love those. I love reading. Yeah,
they're
great.
fun.
Yeah. So Agatha the food spitter works for me because I'm in that space right now.
Agatha works because she's so tragic.
Yeah, got that
You
horror
feel for her.
backstory. Poor
So-
Agatha.
Yeah, J.A. says, sign me up.
Yeah, there you go. Do a better job than me.
I don't know. I think Agatha is going to be hard to beat.
It's going to be hard to top that,
in my
maybe
mind.
2 or 3 shows from now, someone might manage it, but it's going to take some practice.
was I the guinea pig for the first time?
Oh yeah, first time.
Okay.
Yep.
JA says we should keep all the characters and world building consistent with each other.
Well, we should look into is talking to Mike Mullman and getting in touch with his illustrator that he does. He gets to do an illustration for all the creature creations. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna be on that coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going. I have my niece joining us, and she's 17, but she's going to college for digital art and design, and like she's a fantastic artist. So like we're gonna talk creatures, and she's just gonna be like coming up. I'm excited for that.
Is this you're going on yourself, or is this a creature creation one?
This is a creature creation. Yeah.
Is it the All Canada one? Because I need to look at I might be on it actually too.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
If it's the one I think, I need to check the date again. I have it in my calendar, but yeah, don't ask me to think about things right now.
No, it's
that's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Summer mode, right?
Oh man, that was good though. I think that game is coming back for sure because
that was fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely put me on the spot for sure.
Well, I mean, you warned. You know what? You warned us. You warned us. You know, mind all over the map, and we're all there. That's the beauty of doing what we do. We get to actually make money off of it. But in theory.
Yeah. You hope. That's the goal down the road. Down the road. You hope sooner than down the road. But
but
still a process.
Never-ending journey. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun.
That's the key thing. The key thing is it's a heck of a lot of fun.
It's got to be, I think. Otherwise, why do it, right? Like,
you
gotta
especially for as long as it takes to, get even one book out there, let alone many, which is kind of what you have to do to even stand a chance. So
keep writing.
Yeah, you got to have that drive that keeps you going regardless, or else, good luck.
Yeah.
So when is your next book coming out?
So
you mentioned you're near the end, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm aiming for spring 2026. I've been saying March, April, probably closer to April, depending on. I'm booked with my editor for the same job, for manuscript evaluation, everything in end of October. So after that point, it's really just I hate writing the first draft. It's I don't like coming up with those initial thoughts, and then I change my mind so many times. I explained how my brain works, and sometimes it's just there's so many ideas that I could take. And I'm just which one's the right one, though? So I don't like that initial drafting, going and choosing and making actual decisions. And then if I get to a certain point, I'm I should have done the other one. It would have been so much better. So it's a longer process to do that. But then when I get into the editing and the revisions, it's it's here already. And if I'm changing anything, it's only a section versus the entirety of the book. So I do zip through the revisions quite quickly compared to the writing.
Fair. Have you ever had to kind of do a major overhaul mid-edit? Has anything ever come up? Yeah.
So when I'm writing, I say I'm writing. I took a pause from the Guardians of the Wild of Firestone last summer, just while I was getting Unbound ready to publish, because it was just too much to try and write the third in the book while I'm still really in this book. So I went down to a different story completely. It's my mermaid one. It's sirens, evil mermaids. So not pretty little Ariels. It's I'm writing evil sirens.
Little nasties.
Yes, I love evil siren.
I think of the Pirates of the Caribbean mermaids. They're so freaky.
That was I don't know why that movie doesn't get more attention. I actually loved it, and I loved it. I loved the mermaids in it.
Yeah, and the song just super eerie. So these mermaids also walk on land. If you know Aquaman, how the royals can kind of come on land. It's a little bit like that. So anyway, I was working on this story last summer, and I got to a certain point in it at the end, and I'm I think I made the wrong choice. I think I made whatever down the road. I made some wrong choice, and I have to go back and do an overhaul of it. So I kind of just at that point I was ready to set it aside anyway and come back to the Wild of Firestone series. So I was okay, this is a good time to break from it. And now when I'm done all of this, I may revisit that one right away next, or I have a sci-fi that I really want to write and finish, because that was also my first ever story idea since I was 10. I don't know.
Oh,
but I've like revamped it so it's way cooler than a 10-year-old brain's story. So it's I'm kind of on the fence which one I would go with, but
that's tough. That's very tough.
That knowing that mermaid one is going to be a complete overhaul is like overwhelming in my head. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. On the other hand, though, I do have a good lot of it plotted because of it. So like I do have more of the story outlined because I've written it mostly.
Mm. Yeah, but that's intimidating. That like that would put me on total paralysis. I think. Like luckily, like I think the only time I ever had a major like I've done a lot of improvising as I go and some plot shifts, but only once did I have to backtrack, and luckily it was maybe 2 or 3 chapters only. Yeah. And even that felt significant. It took a lot of willpower. And then now the irony is or not irony, I guess it means I made the right choice, because a lot of people tell me that's the exact moment they start really liking.
Okay.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, so phew, I made the right call, because I was really worried about, like, because you lose momentum, and it does feel like that's part of where the intimidation comes from, but worth it. So good luck.
Thank you. It's once I put my head there, it will be like I'm ready to sit down and do it. You almost have to like get to that place in your brain of acceptance where you're just like accept that it's going to be a change and roll with it.
Yeah. Song of Bones I had to write like 4 times. Each time was completely different.
Yeah.
Was that characters?
Was that your first?
Technically, my first published was Garden Maze.
Okay.
This is the first one that came out, but I've been working on Song of Bones for literally 12 years. So it's massive. It was my first project. It was way too big and too ambitious, and I thought like, oh, it's just 1 book, but no, it's like 3 books. And
okay.
It was massive. So
is that the first book then, or is there more to come with it?
Yeah, I'm editing the second one right now. The third one's mostly written. A lot of it needs to be rewritten now again because things change.
Yeah.
But yeah, rewriting is a joy.
It's par for the course, I guess. Sometimes, unless you're like, I don't know, does Brandon Sanderson rewrite? I feel like he just like writes it and it's like it's out.
Done. Next.
He talks about doing all those things in his process, and then you see his writing speed, and you're kind of like, really?
I'm like, I don't know. Do you? Like,
yeah, I mean, maybe, but that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, each rewrite, I do like it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I think it does get, and then the great thing about writing is I have all the old drafts. So if I need something from that, I can always go back and grab it.
It's true. Yeah.
So it's never lost. It's just constantly changing and getting better.
That's good. I do find sometimes that like I'm looking and something's stuck in a scene and I'm like, what do I need to fix here? I need to add something. But then it's like, I don't always need to add something. Sometimes I just need to move things around a bit and adjust it so that it runs a little smoother.
Oftentimes I'll be struggling with something for like a month trying to get a scene to work. And then I step back and say, what if the scene wasn't there? And I just delete the scene. Like, oh, now it just flows naturally. That scene could be just a sentence.
Yeah.
Do you
all that thought, all of that effort into it, then you're like, oh, it's gone.
Well, it's in a different folder. It's over there somewhere.
Do you find you add more or delete more when you're in the middle of revising or editing?
Myself, I would add. I'm at this point now where I don't like coming up with the beats between. Like, I love dialogue. I love to write dialogue. I love to think dialogue. Yeah. It's probably why I love screenwriting so much, because it really is just like someone's talking. Yeah. So like filling in those like, oh, well, I guess what's he doing while he's talking? People don't just generally like stand there and
nodding. That's the usual one, right? While he's not done.
So it's coming up with beats and then describing characters that are not like major characters. They're just sideline characters who happen to show up in the scene. But then I'm like, oh, but I guess I should give them some life and some form and make them look, or even just like a.
Don't make me feel smart, Nathan. That's not good. That's not good for me.
Compliments are not allowed here. You don't want to see what Isaac becomes.
Yeah, it's I would add those things later anyway, like just describing people later and coming up with beats. If I know that somebody's going to react a certain way, I'll write just like the very basic, oh, he feels like this. But then when I come back to it, I'll go and I'll like show that more in descriptive language and like show how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay,
show don't tell.
This is a good.
The Simpsons comment I have thought about extensively.
Mm-hmm.
I would like I gave Tim the opening, like what, 7 chapters for the next
6
Song
or
of
7
Bones?
chapters. Yeah.
Yeah. I was terrified it was boring.
Yeah. Nope.
I was very terrified it was
Absolutely not.
boring. And Tim's like, this isn't boring at all.
Yeah.
And I'm still, I want more people to read it. I want to find one person to tell me if it's boring. If one person tells me it's boring, then I can find out why he thought it was boring. Because I'm afraid it's boring. I'm still afraid it's boring. But I'm like, I've rewritten it enough. Let's move on to the next bit.
Yeah.
So
hard to know when you reach that point, but
hopefully in the next couple months, I just forget all about it. And when I read it again, it's fresh. And then I can be like,
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why you step back, right? It's like you're so in it. And then also beta readers. Like that's why some of the stuff that I've already written, I'm like, I'm just going to leave it. And when I come back with a fresh mind, I'll do my once over and then it'll go to beta readers. And whatever they tell me, I will like, you know, you get enough. And if something kind of stands out, you're like, okay, I feel like that's probably got to go or not, or it works. It's funny because with Unbound, there was a single line that I had 2 different beta readers reading at the same time, and they had both highlighted this exact line and had completely different, like complete opposite perspectives on it. One was like, I don't know, she made some like comment like, yeah, but like he shouldn't be like this, blah blah blah. And then like this other guy was like, oh yeah, I get it. Sometimes you just gotta. Okay, so it was a matter of who kind of understood the character a little better too, because what this guy was saying was that he really understood. Even all his comments were right on with the characters and who they were portrayed as.
Yeah.
I think there was different expectations on the other beta readers. Like I think there was a certain expectation of even genre, because I feel like she's a little bit more in the romance section, and I'm definitely not. So I think that there was a little bit of like pushing in for like, well, where's this chick at? And I'm like, that's not meant to be. That really doesn't matter. Like,
why is he ignoring her? Why is he annoyed by her?
Like, it's not that kind of story.
Yeah.
But the one guy, he was so like, he even offered like for Baron, the villainous character, like he came up with different lines for him that he's like, oh, I feel like this could really work for his character. And I'm like, yeah, actually, you get this guy.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that's a good thing. He's the evil guy.
Oh, that's a great thing. I mean, as a reader comment, that's amazing.
You really do want the reader to be thinking like, when I know a book has really captured me is when the main character or the villain or whoever's point of view it is brought into a situation where they have to make decisions. If I stop reading and I start thinking, what would I do right here? If I have that much investment in what's going on, then I know the writer's doing a good job.
Yeah, that's a good way. I like the way you put that. That's exactly like, that's it, right? When you're reading, you're like, what would I do in this situation?
Often I have to stop and reread what I was reading because I was thinking about what I would do.
Right. Yeah. You yourself, like personally.
Not me as like writer Isaac, but me as like actual Isaac.
Yeah.
There's something valuable too about the character that you got such different reactions to. There is something very valuable to. Well, I'll put it this way. I had almost the exact same experience with one character in The Fall of Sylvandria. And I had one person reach out and say, oh my gosh, like I love this character and I get them. And I probed because I wanted to see why. And it turned out they had experiences that were very, very similar to what that character had gone through. And that I had gone through as well. And I didn't expect most people to notice or care about this character because it's just a very limited experience that I wanted to reflect in there. And I got some people who commented and said, I don't really get this character. But the moment I had this one guy who had that experience say, oh no, this is it. I thought, well, all of your comments just disappeared from my mind because you're learning something now. You know, this is going to be hopefully a new experience for you of seeing that this actually is how people in that situation feel. So it's hard because sometimes if I had listened to those like 3 or 4 people, you know, I'm glad if I hadn't gotten that comment from this one person, I probably would have scrapped or changed a lot of that character. But sometimes like that's what's hard is finding that time when it is appropriate to go against the grind. and to trust your instinct. But it helps to reach out broadly enough with your beta readers that you have those mixed views coming in.
Yeah, and if you connect to somebody, right, like on a level where they can relate to the character and feel that, that's exactly why you do it, right? That's what you're writing.
Yep.
That's the point.
The little gold nuggets like those that come in make it worth it.
Yeah. I see Mark hopped on here, and I feel like I have to say Mark is the name of the character in the third book, and it's spelled with a C. So I love that.
You're famous, Mark.'re in the story.
I should be saying Mark.
Well, I don't know.
But Mark, I'm sorry, it's not a romantasy, so you're not gonna get like a girlfriend or anything like that. It's gonna be kind of sad for you.
I don't know if you want to. I can't give anything away, but like read it before you go say it, because it's got
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of refreshing. I mean, especially in the fantasy space, there's so much romance right now, and I don't mean romance elements in fantasy books. I mean romance driven sort of fantasy books, but that the fantasy is almost a subplot, right? It's kind of refreshing to have more, I like romance elements in my books, but in my upcoming novella, a little bit more than usual. In my Faults of Andrea, though, like basically none.
No. That's probably, I love that too.
There's a place for both, but
there really is. Yeah. And like in like writing, I try to steer away from too much of it, because it's not something that I don't know. When I was younger, I probably enjoyed a lot more romance stories and involvement. But now I'm just like, no, give me the action. Like, where's action? I do. I love action. I love
reader after night on her. This is why we get along. This is why we get along.
yeah. But then I'm writing this third book, and there are more romantic elements. I'll say there's not a romance by any stretch, but there are definitely more elements in there, and that's part of my struggle for this one too. Is like, I don't want it to be, though. But again, I'm staying true to the story and trying to like keep it to the intended goal for the whole series, and that's part of it. So it's like it's challenging though, because I'm definitely like, this isn't what I would normally where I normally take this.
So is it like, have you experimented with it much, like back in your screenwriting days, or in writing outside of this series, or is it very much a new thing to be writing as part of a story?
Which are you
like the romance elements?
I've never ever written it in anything, so it's all brand new. And even like and when I say romance, people who are actual like romance reader would be like, what's she talking about? There's nothing in here. For me, it's like there's that's the level of
held hands. Okay, that's huge. No.
Yeah, no, it's what the whole the character, like when you say, what does this character want, kind of thing. His drive is that he wants to be with this woman who is betrothed to his enemy. He's a wanted man. He can't actually have a life with her, but she is also in love with him. So it's like it's this concept of this is the initial, what does he want? He wants a life that he doesn't have, really. But in the sense of with the romantic element, because there's a woman involved.
Classic. I suddenly want to go watch Princess Bride.
Right?
Or the greatest romance film ever made, Rocky.
I haven't watched that one in forever.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Some old movies I'm going to have to go back. I did watch The Princess Bride recently, though, because I showed my kids, and I'm like, guys, you got to watch this. And they're like, oh, Mom, what are you putting this on for? And then they all end up watching it and liking it. So
it's wonderful. It's so, have you read the book?
No, I haven't. I do want to, though.
Please.
I have to read this. I can't read.
I have a wonderful crappy cover copy of The Princess Bride
with the movie cover, right?
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now you guys are talking about your back matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
check out this.
What happens? I can't read all that, but
what?
It's a very short little blurb. Oh, it just tells you what happens, like.
Here, I'll read it aloud for you. This is the best back of any book I've ever seen.
Okay.
What happens when the most beautiful girl in the world marries the handsomest prince in the world, and he turns out to be a son of a bitch?
Is that actually what it says?
That's it.
That's it. For the Princess Bride.
And I'm betting money William Goldman put that back there.
That's brilliant.
That's so good.
You know what? That's like that. If what is it? The Magnificent Seven. No, the Malevolent Seven. I read the back of the book, and like I haven't read it yet, but I'm like, man, this is going to be great. Like I can already tell just reading the back of this book.
So Princess Bride is just it is a perfect book.
I will have to read that one.
It is a perfect. It's this. I love to talk about my two favorites. Read Princess Bride. Just experience pure joy and happiness.
Okay.
Just
should I read it? Is it like is it kid friendly?
There's some elements in there that it's not graphic, but there's some elements in there they're kind of little adult.
Okay. Well, then I'm like reading.
You read The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle to realize that there is a level above perfection that it's impossible to reach.
I think I'm going to have to check that out too.
They're the best. Yeah. That's it. That's the
top added to the TBR.
The eternal TBR. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you read fast, so apparently it's fine for you.
When I'm not in the middle of writing an ending to a book, but yes. Yeah.
I would definitely recommend Princess Bride first because these two books are linked in my mind just of how perfect they are. They're masterpieces. They're both masterpieces in fantasy.
90s kids. I love that.
I really like
90s that. Kids friendly.
Well, yes. Yes, they are.
I get that. I totally understand that.
I watched Gladiator when I was 8, so I don't know what that means to me. But
X-Men and Matrix were my favorite movies when I was 8. So
exactly. Absolute classics.
Yeah. I was reading what Elle said earlier. You get completely different reaction from actual romance readers versus fantasy readers. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a little romance. Yeah.
But it will hit differently if you don't hit the right tropes and you market it even a little bit to romance readers, you're in for a world of pain. But
exactly, yeah. And I beta read ones where they are like romance and I'm reading it and I'm looking for certain elements that are not there. But then I'm like, okay, but I also recognize that she's totally intending to write this as a romance and to push it to a romance reader audience. Yeah. So I was like taking that into account. Then I was just really looking for more just plot errors that kind of popped up that were pretty major that stood out or something. But anything on the romance side, I was like, I'll just, it's also good to get other perspectives of people who don't necessarily read in your genre. It's great to have beta readers who read in your genre. That is the goal, like your target reader. But it's also helpful to hear perspectives outside of, to pick out those things that maybe if somebody who reads in your genre is like loving it and they're like, like, but then they're not catching all the things that maybe should be caught.
Yeah.
So no, definitely.
In fantasy and productions, yes, Last Unicorn is underappreciated.
The Last Unicorn. Okay.
Last Unicorn. Read Princess Bride first, just because it's wonderful.
Okay.
Once you read it, you're gonna go, oh, it can't get better than this.
Okay.
It's impossible to get better than this. And then you read Last Unicorn and go, oh, there is a level. This goes to 11.
Okay. So you'll see when I review on my Goodreads, it'll be raving.
You might hate them. Like, I hate these books. They're so awful.
Thanks a lot, Isaac. You reckon? No, I'm sure it'll be great.
And that's how Isaac gets review bombed.
I
will
happily get review bombed for Princess Bride and Last Unicorn. Happily.
There's not too much that I don't love. Like if I'm giving a bad review, which I don't really give bad because I can always pick out things that I like in a story. Like I really can pick out so many things that I enjoy in multiple different genres and stories because I'm a very versatile reader. If I don't like a book, I had to really, really hate it, and it would have to be something like that stands out significantly. Like I can only think of like 2 or 3 in the past little while like that really stood out, and they were like. One of them was, it had no plot. These are like traditionally published ones. I will say there's nobody that we know. No. and I won't even like say which ones they are because I don't, bashing books. It was because people put work and hard work into it. It was just like there stood out reasons. But then like when there are like, at most books though, I do generally, I can really enjoy almost everything I read. So it would have to, like I said, stand out. In one case, it was like the ending, and it just the way that it was so unfair at the end, and it just made me mad. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people really they were like, "Oh, I didn't see that." I'm like, "No, it just ticked me off, actually."
That's funny.
Subverting expectations is great as long as you also exceed expectations.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. Good one.
That is
actually, that's a keeper right there. I really like that quote.
You're gonna put that in quotes there and put a nice
That's a clip right
background
there.
to it.
I thought of that after being angry for a solid week after watching the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
The Cabin.
Glass?
I want to. Okay, I'm gonna name
Glass?
movies.
Did you say Glass?
Glass. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh, okay.
I love that. Get out, man.
I actually liked it too.
I love that.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it made me angry. So this is the one where Bruce Willis and Crazy Man and the other guy,
Samuel Jackson,
names. They're in the Crazy House, right?
James McAvoy,
yeah. So that movie, over and over again, keeps showing you here's the giant high rise, here's the cool high tech building with this CGI things opening and closing. We're gonna do something over here. We're gonna do something over here, and then the twist is, it's gonna be in the parking lot in a puddle. I'm like,
I love that.
You had your expectations.
Expectations were not exceeded.
Yeah.
And then you had the extra twist beyond that made things work happily, I guess. But I mean, if you weren't promising the big spectacle thing, the big showdown, then I wouldn't have been as upset. But the fact that you were promising that over and over and over again, and then what you delivered was you're like, here's a cake. No, it's a popsicle. Sorry.
I liked that popsicle. I thought it was like a creamsicle. It had ice cream on the inside.
I am overjoyed you liked the popsicle. I'm overjoyed that you loved it. It made me upset. It may be it.
I get it. No, that is a fair point. I think I actually, part of maybe why I loved that is because I'm kind of sick of skyscrapers and car chases in movies.
No, I'm fine with that being a skyscraper. You have to exceed that. The promise the promise was not exceeded.
Oh, I thought it was so awesome.
So if
the moment I see James McAvoy crawl, charge, you already have me right there. That
was it though. That was all you got. And we've seen that
It
before.
was great.
I feel like it was like
it
was not super memorable to me. Like the ending was, I felt like maybe that was part of the anticlimactic feel for me. Like it wasn't like it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It was like I could pull elements from anything and say that I like it, and it's like. And
there
I did
great parts of that movie.
Enjoying,
everything in that insane asylum was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just once they leave, it wasn't.
It
was.
Was that the one with?
It was downhill.
What's her name? The girl too. Was she in that one?
Yeah, at the end she was.
I can't remember her name.
Anya
Taylor.
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
Princess Peach. Is that her? Yeah, that is her.
Curiosa.
I like how you went to a cartoon for her voice.
Like,
I would have gone to like Mad Max or something.
Like Curiosa or Queen's Game or not.
The newest one,
the chess one, whatever it's called.
Queen's Gambit. Chess. Sorry, the Queen's Gambit. That is a good one too.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun sizzle. Yeah. He
Mad
has
Max
really good...
exceeded expectations. The Furiosa one, it kept building.
Yeah.
It surprised you, subverted things, and went, whoa, that was good.
See, I've always been told there's two kind of arcs, and I'm actually okay with both. And some people hate the latter, but I love U arcs as well as N arcs. I actually am very happy with both when they're done well.
I love U arcs, and what was the other one?
And so it rises up and then falls down, and I actually kind of like that one done well. To me, Glass felt like that done well, but I totally understand when someone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It almost appeals to like a little bit of an artsier viewer.
Maybe, because it went from action to just pure psychology. The psychology.
I don't mind it going away from action.
I
don't mind, but the ending with the psychological twist was not as exciting and interesting as the stuff that was inside.
Get out! No, I'm just kidding.
I see what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah,
I get it.
I probably would agree with you. It's been a while, like I said, and it wasn't super memorable to me. So if I went and watched it again, I'd probably agree with you because I did like a lot of that anticipation and build up inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went, it was almost like, oh, but it's so much more. Like I also really enjoy that. Like I'll tell you, like Red Eye is one of my favorite movies because they're in this enclosed space and like there's nowhere really to go from here. You're not a whole lot of room to run sort of thing. I like that almost closed space antagonist protagonist. This is where we're at and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he does the same thing and better in Trapped. Book Lounge mentioned.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it. I don't think I've seen that one, but I've
Trap was
definitely heard
fun.
of it.
What's
Okay.
the main actor's name again?
Same kind of ending as Glass did.
Okay.
Fair, yeah.
But was satisfying.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
fair, yeah. A lot of people didn't like it.
Surprised me in the way that made me go, "Oh, we're doing this."
Okay, yeah. I liked it. I was
that one out.
Yeah. It's not. I can't rewatch it as easily as I can Glass, but I did really like Trap, and I'm a big fan of the main. What's his name? What's the name actor's the main actor's name in Trap?
What is
I love him because of Lucky Number 11. If you've ever seen.
Oh, Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I love Lucky Number 11.
So good.
Yeah, he's not in tons lately. Like when you see him and stuff, you're like, oh hey, it's cool.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I hadn't seen him in ages, and then I had just watched Lucky Number 11, and then I saw a trailer for this, and I thought, oh my gosh, give this to me right now, inject it into my veins.
Yeah,
and it delivered. I loved it. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'll have to check that one out. I don't think I've seen that.
It's intense, but
I'm trying to remember it like other movies that I've seen that sound like it could be, but
no, very fun premise and executed way. I didn't think I would like it because I'm really not a fan of that whole the whole most of it takes place in a pop concert essentially, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it just that had no appeal to me. And the trailers that I saw, the music had had appeal to me. This serial killer caught in, inside a concert, being in they're trapping him there. And that's,
right.
The pop star was played by M. Night's daughter. And she wasn't very she wasn't very good. She could sing, she could do the singing stuff, but acting after the fact, when she had to act, she wasn't as good.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is though, she actually handled the music side of it incredibly well.
Okay.
I thought
she did, yeah.
It was actually very well done, incredibly well done.
Nice.
And M. Night Shyamalan obviously has to have his cameo, and it was great too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun in there. It's worth the watch.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on almost over an hour and a half. So I mean, we've done pretty darn well.
Hey,
how are you feeling?
Feeling good. And I'm like, my husband. I was like, just check and see if it's still going. And just come back whatever. with the kids. And if you hear them bombarding, no, they're.
I haven't heard a thing. Yeah, and I mean, I know you're without AC because of us, so hopefully not too hot over there, but. Yeah, I mean, this was a blast, and we are definitely keeping the game because of you, because that went as well.
Okay, I'm glad. It was lots of fun. I'm glad to have been your guinea pig for it.
Very fun. Yeah, we were talking just the other day about we need to maybe recycle some of these games. We were trying to decide which, and now I'm like, oh yeah, this is a keeper.
Yeah. There's some great games out there for creatives and storytelling and different ideas to, and who knows, maybe it'll like inspire some idea that you want to write another book that's like, Agatha, what was she?
Agatha, the club-footed food spitter.
We can work on a whole this would be great. You guys take a collection of all your guests, all their stories, and create one long story.
Yeah, or we'll create like a battle royale between them all.
Yeah, one of those with the names or
exactly. Yeah, like a tournament.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, you would have done that. Yeah, exactly. You get the idea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So fun.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah. Oh man, but thank you so much for coming on. I mean, this was long overdue. You and I have been going back since the beginning. So I'm very,
nice
very happy
to actually
to
have this chat and to
yeah. Oh, even better than I expected, which is
that's good.
So this is a lot. Yeah. But yeah, any last things you want to say? You've got a book coming out. Is there anything? We have your links there. They'll be below on the YouTube. On YouTube, and they can find you on X and everywhere else. But anything you want to push? Anything coming up?
No, just working on the third book once that's out, and then I'm planning on getting that whole trilogy. Like I said, start with Bloodbound anyway, even before the prequel, because the prequel will still be probably better read last, and then you just want to jump right back in.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's
brilliant. Yeah. Well, everyone, go check out those links. Go check out all these awesome books that we've been talking about: Bloodbound, Unbound, and then I guess the title hasn't been revealed, right? Yeah, we'll call it something Bound. Bound is probably in it. Spoiler alert. But,
I do have a working title, but it's
Not set in stone yet.
No, I like it. It's probably going to be what it is. But I've had like, I don't know how. My mom's like, but why? I'm like, well, I know why. It makes sense to me, but
that's funny. So we've got a working title. We'll build up to that. But yeah. Anyways, well, yeah. So everybody, be sure to check those out. You know, all the usual stuff. Follow everyone here on X and, you know, Facebook and wherever else you're watching this from, Instagram, YouTube. You know, give us a like, subscribe, follow all that awesome stuff. And yeah, thank you again, Trinity, so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, such a pleasure. And thank you everyone in the chat for showing up. I think this might be a record for how many people we had show up in the chat.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
J.A. Bryan, if I can pitch my Agatha food spitter with the club foot selling the diarrhea wine to Disney, I'd be a happy man.
Gosh. Yeah, there we go. Now we can fulfill Trinity, you get to fulfill your screenwriting, you know.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we'll get you to do this. Well, you can write the screenplay.
There we go. As long as I don't have to work on the set.
We're gonna teach kids it's okay to have a club foot.
It'll be the sequel to what's that Agatha Disney show? The
I don't know.
It was Agatha all along, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Great.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Stupid Marvel series they came out with. That was like a Disney throwaway. I was like, come on, guys, this will be better.
It will be better either way.
Yeah.
Low bar. That's a low bar, but still, we'll shoot high. We'll shoot high.
Yeah. Shoot high again.
Yeah, and Mark, thank you so much for coming out. You're late, but you caught a lot of fun anyway. So yeah. Everybody. Well, I am going to hit that awesome end stream thing.